Hi and welcome to Shares for Beginners. I'm Phil Muscatello. I'm the host of the podcast, which has now turned into a YouTube channel. Now, the reason why this happened was because I've been making the podcast for 6 years and I've discovered that you can upload podcast episodes automatically to YouTube. So I've been doing that for a while, and then I thought, well, why not start making videos? So the actual episodes themselves, now for the last 3-4 months, I've been doing video versions, which I've been uploading as well. But I think I wanted to talk to you directly because I just wanted to warn you about investing, about the mistakes that you can make, and hopefully that you can learn far more about becoming a better investor in share markets and understanding financial systems. The kind of content that I cover in the podcast, which I'll also be distilling for these kind of mini-potted episodes, is to look into every nook and cranny of the financial industry and the system and the way it works, all the way from macroeconomics to investing in a very, very small micro-cap company. Because when I first started the podcast, I remember thinking, is there going to be enough material to cover a whole series? And now, nearly 800 episodes later, I'm still fascinated and still learning about all of the different areas of the financial services industry and the financial system. I think it's just really so fascinating, the fact that there's companies that you can invest in on the share market, but then there's all these other asset classes, and this is where asset allocation comes in. And I'd highly recommend, if you're looking at this video in Australia, look in your superannuation account. If you're in the United States, have a look in your 401k, or whatever your pension scheme is around the world. Look at how it's being invested, because that's where you're going to learn about asset classes. And this is one of the most important things to understand, because your money can be invested in so many places, and really to get a feel about this is going to help you become a better investor, and it's also going to make sure that you're not making any mistakes with your pension plan. So you may be asking yourself, why me? Why an aging hipster who's got a background in media production, in music, in radio, a little bit of DJing even in there? What's the knowledge that I've got? Well, I think it all comes down to being able to ask the stupid, silly questions. There's a lot of people who want to make sure that they don't look like an idiot. And I don't mind looking like an idiot. I've been an idiot myself many times. But I think making people feel comfortable when they're talking to me, and then also being able to pull them up a little bit. There's been so many times where a guest they use jargon and it just trips off their tongue so lightly. And I just want to make sure that that jargon is explicable to ordinary people, so that when you do hear something, the inverted yield curve or the risk profile, all of these things, these have got deep meaning, often embedded in legislation that you don't even understand. I don't provide financial advice. I'm not licensed to provide financial advice. If you look at my disclaimer in the description below, you will see that I am a corporate authorised rep of an AFSL, which is an Australian Financial Services Licence. I just don't want to bore you with the technicalities, but you see disclaimers. Every time someone starts talking to you about finance, there'll be a disclaimer. And, when you go to a financial advisor, you'll be asked to describe your risk profile. And you don't know this is another thing that I've worked out, is that risk is such a misunderstood term, and it's used in the financial industry completely differently to the way that you and I think about risk. You think about risk as being, will I do my dosh? Whereas the financial services industry, risk has so many facets to it. That's another fascinating thing that you'll hear in my podcasts, and I'll be covering a lot of, is what risk is, what it means to different people, and what it should mean to you. Please, if you've got any questions or ideas, please add in the comments, because, it's not just up to me to make questions all the time and come up with questions all the time. If you don't tell me what you don't know, I don't know what you don't know. And we all need to know what we don't know, so that we can ask the questions, so that we know more than before we didn't know. So please give me questions, because this is the only way we're going to learn. Even if you think it's a stupid question, don't worry, we all have to ask those stupid questions. The only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. Some people have said to me, shares for beginners, it's a bit complicated what you're talking about. And this is kind of my filtering process here, because It is complex. It's not easy to understand. I can't give you a series of actionable steps. I know a lot of people will be selling these systems, financial ideas to say, oh, you can make money by using my system. But that's not the way I want to approach it. I want you to understand how difficult choosing individual companies for your portfolio actually is. I saw this statistic, and I know it's different for different markets around the world, but if in the Australian context, if you go through 100 years worth of data, there's only 7% of companies that have outperformed the market over a 100-year period. And that's not even choosing that particular 20 years of your investing in that 100-year period. It's really, really hard that's going to choose a company that will make you extra money. So anyway, hopefully you won't find it too complex. You'll find it as interesting as I have. Please send me your questions, and this is Shares for Beginners. So thank you very much, and thank you for joining me on my journey.